You can run an Airbnb business without owning real estate and without needing to go out and buy property. Let me show you how. Now, before I do, subscribe and hit the bell if you want to learn how to create passive income with Airbnb. Hello everyone, my name is Jorge Contreras. I've been doing Airbnb for 5 years and it's actually what allowed me to create financial freedom. By the way, let me know in the comments if this is the first time you've heard about Airbnb or how long ago did you first hear about this strategy. Let me know down below. You know, you hear the real estate gurus all the time talk about how to create passive income with real estate investing. But the truth is most people don't have the finances to go out and actually buy property. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to create Airbnb passive income without owning real estate. To understand how this works, let's talk about subleasing. And here are the 3 things that you need to understand. Number 1, you have to understand the data to look at the revenue and occupancy of existing Airbnbs in the area. Number 2, you have to understand the city ordinances. And number 3, you have to understand how to properly qualify properties to see if that property makes sense for you to start your business in. So first, let's talk about the data, and this is extremely important. Often people make the mistake of simply picking a property that they like because of how it looks. They start their Airbnb business and they don't know if it actually is going to work. They don't know if they're going to get a great return on investment. And the only way to know almost for sure that it's going to work is to look at the data of existing Airbnbs in the area. And there are great softwares out there like Mashvisor, AirDNA, and many others where you can actually pay for data to see the existing revenue of properties in your area. So for example, let's say that you are interested in launching a 2-bedroom apartment in a certain area. Well, you can look at the data of existing 2-bedroom apartments in the same area with similar style, similar amenities, similar location, to see what other 2-bedroom apartments are already doing. You can even see the revenue for the last 12 months. So let me give you an example. Imagine the apartment you're interested in renting is $1,500 a month. And there are 3 similar apartments who've already been running for over a year that are each making over $3,000 a month. So if there are 3 other apartments that have been making over $3,000 a month in the last 12 months and you're looking at renting one for $1,500, that's a no-brainer. On the other hand, let's say you looked at the data and the same other 3 apartments are only making about $2,500 a month, then you know after paying your cleaning and utilities, you're not gonna have that great of a profit margin. So again, these softwares will help you confirm which areas will give you the best ROI. Utilizing these data softwares, you have the ability to click on the actual Airbnb listings. Now we can see not just how many bedrooms, bathrooms, the square footage, the pictures, the descriptions, what other people are saying about their experience at these properties, because then you could see if there's something that these properties are lacking, maybe you can add it or improve for your actual Airbnb. And this way, not only can you provide a better experience with better amenities, but become one of the top 1% of Airbnbs in your area. Another thing you can see is how many people they're actually hosting. And this is an opportunity where you can actually charge more revenue than the competition. Let me give you an example. Let's say those other 3 apartment units are only hosting up to 2 people. But you know that in a 2-bedroom apartment, maybe you could host up to 4 or up to 5 or 6 people, allowing you to charge more per night, only increasing your revenue, bookings, and ultimately your cash flow. Now let's talk about city ordinances. This is another one where I see people constantly making the mistake where they launch a short-term rental without verifying if the city even allows Airbnbs in that area. So here's how you do it. All you need to do is go on Google and type this: Department of Building and Safety. Once you do that, there's gonna be a phone number that pops up for that city that you just searched. And then you're gonna call them, and here's exactly what you're gonna say. Hello, my name's Jorge, and I'm interested in learning about your short-term rental ordinance in the city of whatever city it is. Possible outcome number 1, we actually don't regulate this area for short-term rental. Go ahead and launch. What this means is that they actually don't regulate the area, which means you don't need a permit and you can go ahead and launch. Possible outcome number 2, hey Jorge, you actually do need a permit in order to have a short-term rental business. Great. Hey ma'am or hey sir, how do I get the permit? What is the process? And this way you begin. Now keep in mind, some cities either allow you to go ahead and launch and then get the permit later, or some cities you actually need the permit number in order to upload the property to Airbnb. Possible outcome number 3 is that they don't allow short-term rentals at all. Now this is very rare. In my experience, I would say about 3% of cities have completely banned Airbnbs, and in 97% of cities, it's either 1 or 2 where you don't need a permit or you need a permit. And here's the thing, you don't want to launch in an area without knowing if you could even launch, because it's only a matter of when, not if you're going to get caught. Why go through all the work of speaking to a landlord, furnishing the property, getting decor, getting pictures, creating the listing, just for it to be short-lived? I've always been a big fan of thinking long-term. I want to build a sustainable and scalable business that I could have for 5 to 10 years or even longer. So again, to build a sustainable and scalable business, make sure it's 1 or 2. Now let's go over qualifying properties, which is number 3. And here are the 4 things that are extremely important when qualifying a property. And number 5 is more of a bonus. Number 1, I recommend starting either with a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment or a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. And the way you determine which one you pick is based on the ROI from the softwares and your finances, because remember, you gotta pay the first month and deposit. The second thing that is very important when qualifying properties, the property must be renovated. Now, whenever I buy properties, I'm okay renovating them because I'm actually gonna get it at a discount. But if I'm subleasing, meaning renting the property from an owner, I do not want to renovate the property because it's not my property. So the property must already be renovated. So if you like what I've shared so far about the data softwares and the city ordinances, make sure you hit that like button so you can also see more of my videos. Number 3, the property should have AC and heat for obvious reasons. And of course, we prefer if the AC and heat is central. Otherwise, portable or window units can also work, but it's not as aesthetically pleasing. So again, central is always better. And you can often see in the description, or when you speak to the landlord, you can also confirm whether or not it has AC and heat. Number 4 is I highly recommend for the property to have parking for a minimum of 2 vehicles. I used to have properties years ago where I only had parking for 1 vehicle. The other vehicle had to park in the street. And often they had to park 4 or 5 blocks away because we were in a busy area. Not only that, but this property was in an uphill. And just imagine if families are tired from traveling on the plane for many, many hours, they get to your destination, to your Airbnb, and now they gotta walk for 15 minutes because they couldn't find parking. This is going to reflect negatively on your reviews. So parking is very important. Number 5, and as I mentioned, this is more of a bonus, is if the property is already furnished and has appliances. Now, in my experience, almost all properties are going to have a refrigerator, a stove, and a microwave. Sometimes you get lucky and you get a washer and a dryer. And again, by having all these appliances, it's going to keep thousands of dollars in your pocket. And when you're getting into Airbnb or real estate investing in general, my goal is always to get into the properties with as little money out of pocket so I can have a higher return on investment, which we can break down how that works in a different video. Now, when it comes to the properties already being furnished, it's very rare. I think I've seen about 5 to maybe 10% on the high end of properties already being furnished. So it is something that you want to account for. By the way, if you're enjoying my content, make sure you hit that like button so you can see more of my videos and we can help you create passive income with Airbnb without owning real estate. Knowing these 3 things can help you start your Airbnb journey correctly so you can start making passive income without owning real estate. If you want to keep learning more about starting an Airbnb business without owning real estate, I do have a link to my free ebook down below. Before you go, make sure you watch this video to learn how much you can make from Airbnbs. And again, hit that subscribe button so you can learn how to have success with Airbnbs.